Agents of Sabotage coming December 10th in GTA Online. Not the DLC I was expecting, but it looks to be some good content. We might have to wait for that Michael DLC, might be the final DLC we ever get for GTA Online next year, or maybe not at all. But this is how much money you'll need for the Agents of Sabotage DLC. I went back through all the previous DLCs we had so far, gathered the total, all the averages. Just a warning, this video is a lot of numbers, but I want to get the most accurate estimation of how much you will need day one and for the total DLC as possible. So sit back, grab a coffee, and here we go. FIB variant, or at least an upgrade to it. Now the vehicles we got, which is probably the most thing people look forward to each DLC. We got 6 new vehicles on the Legendary Motorsport website on day one. The Overflow Pesperio being the most expensive at $2.959 million. Or it was free for people with GTA Plus, and they will probably do that again, make the most expensive vehicle for free for GTA Plus members. We also got the Coquette D1 at $1.5 million, the Anus Eros X32, $1.5 million, the Ubermachi Noble, $1.8 million, Enos Paragon S, $2 million, and the Visage, $2.4 million. We only got one vehicle on day one on the Super San Andreas Super Autos website, and that was the Class A Yasmite, $1.2 million. We also got 3 brand new vehicles for the Warstock Casualty Carry website, the Greenwood Cruiser, Impaler SC Cruiser, and Dorado Cruiser, the police variants, and all of these was from $4.7 million to $5 million. So expect these to be the most expensive vehicles in this next upcoming DLC if we do have police variants, which I'm expecting we will. And we have confirmed one that we have. So that was 10 vehicles on total on day one of the last DLC, and $28 million, $160,000 for the vehicles on day one alone. We also got all the drip-fed vehicles for that DLC, the Canis Castigator, $1.6 million, Vapid Dominator FX, $1.5, the Pegasi Pizza Boy, $195,000. We all love that. Benefactor Volkshammer, $1.7 million, Vapid Dominator FX Interceptor, $4.9 million. Definitely one of the most expensive there. And the Declasse Impaler LX Cruiser, $4.7 million. So in total, that is $43,015,000 for all vehicles total. And adding on the business, $45 million, $615,000 total. And in all the other categories, we got over 350 pieces of clothing in total. And I couldn't find exact price of that. I looked up for hours trying to find this one thing. Couldn't find it at all, but I'm assuming it is very expensive. At least $5 million for the clothing alone, because some of these outfits, you gotta remember, $500,000 for one outfit. That is insane. Now, so far, which is the new business and a few vehicles, and that's really all we know so far. We didn't get shown too much of new things that we know is coming, except new business and new vehicles, and a sneak peek of a new mission where we're going to be going back to the underground Mount Chiliad base, which is kind of interesting. I'm glad they're bringing that back. So we have the Darnell Brothers Gourmet Factory business. This is basically what the last 3 DLCs were, where you have this hub, you have a computer inside of it, probably going to be doing a little bit of stuff inside of it, but for the most part, you're going to go inside, go on a computer, start up a mission, go back outside and do the mission. And you might have to bring some vehicles and other stuff back into the factory. Now, I'm expecting this to at least be $2.5 million for the least expensive, even up to $3.5 million for the most expensive. This looks to be a massive business, maybe even bigger than the last business. December DLCs are usually a lot bigger in scale compared to the summer DLCs. This one doesn't look too big, which is I'm surprised by, because usually December DLCs are pretty massive. But the business looks to be a huge upgrade to what we have. Looks like we have some mini heists inside of this too, so I'm expecting at most $3.5 million without upgrades, of course without customization, for the Gourmet Factory. Add that on the total at the top left of the screen, and let's get started with the vehicles. So the opening shot of the trailer shows off 2 new vehicles straight away. We love this Rockstar. The one on the left looks to be a new Banshee, which might be one of the more expensive vehicles. The one on the right looks to be a new Honda, almost like an NSX, and you can see some more screenshots of these vehicles throughout the trailer of the Banshee and the Honda NSX. These vehicles look great, also look very expensive. Now the Jester RR is not a new vehicle, but it looks like we have a wide body version of it, wide body / HSW upgrade of it. And remember, Expanded and Enhanced is coming to PC soon. We still don't have an exact date on it, but soon, early next year. So this might also be coming to PC. And in this scene right here, we have one of the most looked forward to vehicles in this whole DLC, the Police Coquette D10. This vehicle, I'm going to say it straight away, at least $6 million for it, maybe even getting into the lower $8 million range. This vehicle is going to be massive, it's going to be fast, hopefully, and people are going to want to buy it. Rockstar is going to get the most money they can out of us so we could buy it. So I would say let's start with the new Banshee, because I'm a huge fan of the Banshee in all GTA games. This looks to be, if I could compare it to a vehicle from the last DLC, this looks to be close to the Paragon S. I wouldn't say it's up on the Pepestral range, unless they do make this the fastest vehicle. But I'm not expecting this to be the fastest vehicle in this whole DLC. It's a new Banshee, we know how the Banshee is, and even though the OG Banshee is an old vehicle from day one, we know the Banshee was never really the fastest vehicle anyways. So I'm not expecting this to be the most expensive vehicle, at least throughout the whole DLC. Maybe on day one if it is released on day one, but throughout the whole DLC, I'm not expecting this to be the most expensive. I will compare this to the Coquette we got from the last DLC, and that had a price of $1.5 million. So for the new Banshee, I'm expecting around $2 million to $2.5 million with the upgrades. And of course, the Banshee being shown off in the trailer, a lot of people are going to want the Banshee, and it's going to be a very high price for it. We also have the new Honda that was shown off in the trailer. Looks very nice. It'll be interesting to see the performance differences between this and the Banshee we got. But sorry to all my Honda fans, but I don't think this is going to be near the Banshee, at least in the price. So I'm expecting this to be at most $2 million without the upgrades. Now we have the Police Coquette D10 Interceptor. This vehicle, everyone is going to want it. It looks amazing, it looks fast, and hopefully it is fast. I think it was the Dominator the Gauntlet Interceptor we got from last DLC, that was pretty fast. For some reason, it wasn't as fast as the original. I don't know why that is, but hopefully the Coquette D10 is as fast as the original, maybe even faster than it. This vehicle is going to be massive, everyone is going to want this. And Rockstar knows that everyone wants these police vehicles, that is why they were all the most expensive in the last DLC, even what was from the last DLC, the Dorado Cruiser. Pretty slow vehicle, but just because it was a police vehicle. The cost for it was $5 million, trade price was $3.7 million for the Dorado Cruiser. So just imagine what a Coquette D10 would cost, if that's what the Dorado Cruiser cost. I'm saying at least $6 million, at most $7.5 million for the Coquette D10 Cruiser. And people might say that looks high, that looks very high, too high, but I'm thinking Rockstar knows that we all want this, we all know that we want it. So what do you think Rockstar is going to do in this situation? They are going to price it as high as possible until people complain. $7.5 million, mark it down, that is my prediction. So to make this list as accurate as possible, let's use everything we got from the last DLC as an indicator of how much vehicles we will get for this next DLC. So we got 6 vehicles on Legendary Motorsport website, 5 vehicles on Southern Super Autos website, 4 vehicles on Warstock Cash and Carry website. And let's use these on this DLC. Now this is where just stuff gets messed up. Let's go on to the total vehicles we have. And I'm using all the averages from the last DLC for this upcoming DLC. We got 6 vehicles on Legendary Motorsport website, 5 vehicles on Southern Super Autos, and 4 vehicles on Warstock. And let's just use this for the next DLC, because we don't know how much we'll get. We'll probably get more than that, but we have to play it safe on this video. I'm not going to put the average up to $100 million for the whole DLC. If it's not going to be $100 million, just so I could say, hey, I predicted it's going to be the most expensive DLC ever, because it's probably not going to be that case. So the average for the last DLC was $12.3 million for the Legendary Motorsport website, exactly $12,319,998. For Southern San Andreas Super Autos website, it was $6 million. $390,000. And for Warstock Cash Carry, all these police vehicles, you know, $19,440,000 for that average. So let's say we get 6 vehicles on Legendary Motorsport, 5 vehicles on Southern San Andreas Super Auto's website, and 4 vehicles on Warstock Cash and Carry. $12 million at least for Legendary Motorsport. $6 million at least for Southern San Andreas Super Autos, especially if we have that Coquette on there. We don't know what website that will be. Probably will be on Legendary Motorsports, but we will probably have a lot of vehicles on Southern San Andreas Super Auto's website. And of course, Warstock Cash Carry with new police vehicles and any other helicopter or boat we have. So $19 million for any new police vehicles, especially that Coquette D10. Even if the other 3 vehicles are just some slow police cars, that Coquette is going to add a lot of money to this total. So it looks high. That's the reason why it looks high. The Coquette is going to be massive. The total I am predicting for at least the total price of all the vehicles in this next DLC, $38,149,998. That is a lot, but it's actually on the lower end compared to a lot of DLC we had before. This is on the lower end of it. So even though it looks high, it's not a high number at all. It's actually on the lower end of usually what we get. Now counting all the upgrades on top of this, you're at least looking at maybe even $45 million for all the vehicles and upgrades for these vehicles. So $45 million I'm predicting for the vehicles in total, adding on the business on top of it, $48,500,000 for that total. Now we could go on to all the other categories like clothing, add another $3 million onto that. We know we have at least 1 new weapon coming, add another $1 million onto that. And again, for the business factory, I didn't talk about upgrades at the beginning, but we usually know for these businesses, usually the upgrades are at least from $500,000 to $1.5 million. That is a huge range, so let's just say $1 million for each upgrade on average. And usually there's about 3 upgrades for every business we have. And that's really all we have that we know about so far. I do think we will be getting more vehicles than the last DLC, but I don't know how much we're getting. I can't say we're going to get more than we're going to get, but I do truly believe it's going to be more than last DLC. So that is how I got these numbers. I went through all the averages of the last DLC, how many vehicles we usually get in each DLC. So the total for my prediction that you will need for this DLC to buy everything, $55,500,000 for the total cost of the Agents of Sabotage GTA Online DLC coming December 10th. I know it's been a while since I made a video. I was in New Zealand, but I am back now. The grind continues on this channel. I got your guys' back. Prepare for this DLC. Oh, and for day one, I'm expecting maybe $15 million to buy everything. Last DLC, it wasn't bad for day one. Day one, I only spent about $15 million, so I'm expecting at least 15, maybe up to $20 million for everything on day one. Of course, you won't buy everything, but if you wanted to, expect anywhere from under $20 million. I know that was a lot of math, but I did math, so you guys don't have to. That is the total price I'm predicting for the Agents of Sabotage DLC. If you like this video, got this far, probably means you liked it, so leave a like and subscribe to see what video I make next.